and care about him, but I'm a lot more invested right now in Arizona State and making sure that we show up prepared and ready to play, and that we make the in-game adjustments that we need to make. So I'll be less thinking about that during the game, and then when the game's over, I'm going to find him and give him a hug and spend a little bit of time catching up with him. But yeah, when that thing kicks off, it's all about the Arizona State Sun Devils and making sure we're doing the things that we need to do to win that game. And afterwards, I'll go find him and give him some love.
Yeah, that's for sure. What are his best attributes as a player, and what have you been able to provide intel that will help Brian and his guys get ready for Saturday?
Oh no, I think like Coach Dillingham made it. He alluded to it the other day. Is like they want me to tell all these weaknesses and all this stuff, and I was like, man, from my experience with him, the kid does a lot of things really well, and so I think the thing that really stood out with him is, like I said, he's not the tallest, he's not the longest, he's not the fastest, he doesn't have the biggest arm. He's good. He's good in all those areas. I think the thing that really made him elite, his dynamic trait, is his number one, his ability as a leader. He's a dynamic leader. He's a multiplier, like Coach Dillingham talks about all the time. He brings a joy to the game that makes players around him want to play hard for him. He's an elite processor. He sees things. The game is slower for him than most, and he's got confidence and belief in his abilities, and he doesn't get flustered easily. He's powerfully built, so he can extend plays, and he's got good contact balance, and he can do some stuff to extend things, and he can create off platform as good as anybody. So he does a lot of really good things. I think it's like everybody talks about the it factor, the things that you can't measure. I think to me he's got more of that makeup, that there's just a certain it factor about him. He's a winner, he's a competitor, he's a leader, and we got our work cut out for us, but we also have a heck of a defense. Coach Ward and that defensive staff does a tremendous job of game planning and scheming and taking away team strength, and so it's going to be fun to watch how they plan and how they attack Devin, and I hope we get after him for 4 quarters. I hope we make it really uncomfortable for him, and then I can go up and give him a hug afterwards and wish him best of luck the rest of the season.
I was going to say, are moments like the 3 hours you're going to experience Saturday kind of why a guy gets into coaching?
Yeah, but it's, to be honest with you, it's not just because I'm playing a former player.
Yeah.
It's because you're on the road in a hostile environment, playing a great team, both teams at 4-1, both teams in great shape in the conference. That's why I'm doing it, and I love, and we talk about the relationships, and that's one of the things I'm most proud of in my time at Saguaro, is just the people and the relationships that will be a part of my life forever, and so I don't ever take that for granted. But no, when we go there Saturday, it's about looking out there and being in hostile territory with a chance to go steal or win from a really good football team.
Great stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you guys.
Share a donut for dogs with him.
No, he won't get one of those. He won't get one of those. When he's out of Utah, he's in the NFL, he can come have donuts.
Give him a lousy one. It's the cake donuts.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, real quick, for your team and kind of getting into the crux of the red zone offense, some of you guys have been trying to improve on week after week. And obviously last year, Shimon was a really big part of scoring in those red zone situations. What do you make about your group right now and the way you guys are attacking the red zone, and how the tight end group can be a real factor going forward?
Yeah, I think it's, you get a picture, through 5 games of where you're at, things that you're doing well, things you want to hang your hat on, and things that you feel like you need to improve on. And so, I think we've got a good look at kind of where we're at. I mean, obviously we know Shimon's a great target down there and somebody we can use, and he's been reliable down there. So, I think Coach Arroyo's done a good job of having that bye week, doing some self-scouting, taking a look at things that we've done, and then, studying, seeing what other people are doing to have success, and looking at ways that we can, change the picture a little bit and get creative in certain situations and kind of open things up a little bit. So I'm excited to see us go into the second half of the season and continue to improve in those areas.
Obviously, the bye week brings a lot of positives that it's necessary for any team to continue to be good over the course of a season. But for you guys having 2 games already where you've started off kind of sluggishly, gone down multiple scores, how does that play into the way you guys prepare for this upcoming game to make sure you guys aren't starting off slowly after having that week off?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Dillingham making a few tweaks to our practice structure to make sure the practices are starting fast, that we have urgency to get going right from the jump. I think we've shown ourselves that we're never out of it, which is a good thing, that we can stay in the fight. But at the end of the day, you don't want to continue to rely on having to bounce back. And so we know that we've got to be a team that comes out and have a little bit more urgency, a little bit more attention to detail in our execution early in the game. And so I think that's been reflected in how we started practices. And at the end of the day, it's up to the players. Like, if you can't get excited to come out and play in some of these environments and start fast, then you're going to have a hard time competing as we get into the meat of this schedule. We're playing some really good teams that are going to be up like that. We've got a target on our back. We're going to get their best shot, and we've got to answer back from the opening bell.
And obviously, you guys have been preparing for potential rain with a lot of the balls just being wetted before you guys are doing any types of drills.
Yeah.
How is the preparation for that going, and do you feel like that's a factor that you guys are really taking into consideration at a high level for this?
Yeah, I mean, we're soaking the balls, put them in water and spraying and trying to, work some ball security stuff. I mean, you've got to prepare for it. At the end of the day, like depending on the weather, it's the game plan, can shrink or expand based on, what it looks like. So, yeah, I think you can't just show up and hope it doesn't rain. You got to prepare for it, which we've done a good job of. But we're also not spending too much time worrying about it. You do your wet ball drills, ball security stuff, and prepare for it. Make sure Sam's throwing some balls and receivers are catching balls, and then we're just going about our business like usual.
Obviously, you're a guy who always praises the need to block, especially in your position group, and guys really playing with toughness. And going up against a Utah team that it kind of epitomizes toughness, and that's what the Kyle Whittingham DNA really is about. How has that been for you guys this week, preparing in that aspect to make sure you guys are not only always harping on toughness, but making sure that's a real focus of the DNA this weekend?
I mean, it's that should never waver for us. Like, it shouldn't change because we're playing Utah versus playing Texas State or whatever. Like, our identity should be our identity all the time. Otherwise, it's not your identity. It's just who you're telling people you want to be. It's not who you really are. And so, we haven't changed. Now, do we know that we're going to play a team that's going to answer the bell and they're going to show up ready to go and it's going to be a dogfight? Absolutely. But yeah, our approach doesn't change. We approach to play, with maximum physicality, week in and week out, day in and day out, and that will never change. Because if it ever changes, then it's not really our identity.
Nice, Coach.
Yep.